And another one from San Francisco? Another one. I was yelling yesterday, get the hell out of California. California, city of high prices, or state, really. San Francisco, really. And I saw someone's comment, hey, man, I'm loving life over here. We're renting a vegetable farm and everything. You know what? In your case, good job, buddy. That's great. It really is. But high cost of living and the freaking unbelievable traffic, no thanks. Anyways, another one from Wolf Street. Office using employment in San Francisco and Silicon Valley gets hit pretty darn hard. Something convoluted is happening in the office sector. New office towers are still sprouting like mushrooms in some pockets of San Francisco and Silicon Valley. The biggest tech companies are still expanding their office footprint. The media are still full of stories of mega salaries for tech workers, and yet employment growth of the phenomenal job creation machine has stalled. And in San Francisco, office using employment growth has turned negative. This is how it's not adding up in San Francisco. The office sector in San Francisco saw a slew of large leasing transactions in the third quarter, at the top of which were the familiar names, according to global real estate service provider Savills Studley in its quarter three report on San Francisco. Three things they noted. Facebook leased 412,000 square foot, taking all the office space in the new mixed-use tower at 181 Fremont Street, scheduled for completion in the first half of 2018. Airbnb leased 270,000 square foot in the Zynga headquarters building at 650 Townsend Street, and Amazon leased 175,000 square foot as well. Leasing activity has been quite top-heavy in San Francisco in recent quarters as the market's largest firms secure more space, writes Colin Scanlon, research manager at Savills Studley's San Francisco office. It further depleted the supply of blocks of space greater than 75,000 square foot, he writes. The dearth of options continues to be a challenge for very large requirements, but companies looking for full doors or less still have plenty of alternatives. So leasing activity surged to 2.7 million square foot, bringing the total for the past 4 quarters to 7 million square foot, though that's still down 10% from the long-term average of 7.7 million square foot, according to Savills Studley's report. After those deals, Class A vacant availability, which has been rising over the past several quarters, declined to 10.2%, but remained higher than a year ago, and the average Class A asking rent rose 3.6% year over year. Class B rent jumped nearly 10%, and office property sales spiked 47% year over year to $2.66 billion. But here's the twist. Companies overall are not adding to employment in San Francisco. And office using employment, a metric prepared by Savills Studley, based on its analysis of Bureau of Labor Statistics data, utilizing employment categories for financial information and professional business services, has turned negative this year. The chart below by Savills Studley shows that total office using employment, which I'm not going to show you right now, is around 425,000, a notch below 2016. The annual percentage change of office using employment, which is the black line, again, you're not going to see it, don't need to, has dipped below zero, but the national trend hovers at an annual growth rate of around 2%. Now, note how growth peaked in 2012 and 2015 at annual rates of over 8%, and how office employment crashed in 2009. The chart aptly represents the dizzying boom and bust cycles of San Francisco employment. A similar scenario is playing out in Silicon Valley. And let's think about this for a minute. Again, high cost of living out of control. You can't afford to be let go over in San Francisco. If you're let go in San Francisco and you can't find a job immediately, you literally have to move out of the state. You are not going to keep paying that rent and or mortgage in that massively overpriced house that you live in. Not happening. So a similar scenario is playing out in Silicon Valley. Office leasing activity rose 10% in quarter three, bringing the total for the past 4 quarters to 4 million square feet, according to Saville Studley Q3 office report on Silicon Valley. Despite that, overall vacant availability rose from 14.5% a year ago to 16%, with Class A availability jumping from 18% a year ago to 21%. Nevertheless, overall asking rent jumped 12.4% year over year, which is insane. I don't mind saying so, in an already insanely high-priced area. Class A asking rent spiked 19%. Massively insane, if you ask me. And property sales for the year through July jumped 23% to $2.14 billion. Google, under the guise of CBRE Global Investors, made more than 52 South Bay property purchases totaling $820 million over the last 3 years, concentrated in Sunnyvale. Saville Studley reported, adding that Google occupied some buildings, but its plans for many sites remain unclear. So Google is warehousing space for later use, if any. Just grabbing space is the key. In recent months, it also acquired a slew of other buildings, including 3 NetApp buildings in Sunnyvale for $319 million. NetApp is consolidating its footprint and will lease back one of the buildings. Google's clandestine purchases in Sunnyvale may have enabled them to get ahead of any land rush, the report added. Google also unveiled plans to build an 8 million square foot mixed-use community in downtown San Jose, including office, retail, and residences on a 240-acre site. Let me guess. I'm just going to make a guess here. Pure speculation. About those residences on your 240-acre site. Again, I'm just thinking history and money, how the money flows, cheapest labor, how do we get cheap labor? I'm going to throw one out there, okay? Google is going to bring in the immigrants, India, etc., and house them in these facilities so that they can continue paying these people very cheap, cheap labor. That's my guess. Only time will tell. Maybe, and this is a maybe, this would be a great thing to see, honestly, but maybe, Google being an American company and all, maybe they'll take all their American employees. Guys, we're building these residential quarters for all our employees. And you can rent from us really, really cheap compared to everywhere else. Of course, you still got to pay. And we just want to make my life a little easier for you guys. So you're still going to be employed. We're still going to pay you a good salary that you deserve living here while Google's raking in billions and billions every year. So everybody's happy. We're not going to bring in the cheap labor. And you're going to, we'll continue using you guys and everybody's happy, right? That could happen. I don't know that I'm feeling it, but I'm going to throw that out there as a second possibility because it is. But according to the report, it will likely be several years before Google starts construction. So everything's cool in Silicon Valley? Alas, as in San Francisco, the present is marked by stalling employment growth in Silicon Valley, particularly office using employment. Again, same thing. So what's next? Even as the biggest tech employers are hiring, particularly Google, Facebook, Amazon, others are not. And some are trimming back, such as Yahoo, NetApp, and others, including a gaggle of startups that are having trouble or are already shutting down. The net effect is in the above charts, which again, you don't need to see. You don't need to see it. It needs to be redacted. I'm being the National Security Agency, JSNIP 4. You're the peasant, you're the taxpayer, you're the consumer, and I'm redacting this chart from you because it's got top secret information. It's got this green line and this red purplish line and some blue candlesticks. There, that's enough. So, anyways, the net effect is in the above charts. Overall, office using employment growth in Silicon Valley and San Francisco has stalled along a fairly steep curve, and in San Francisco has already shifted into decline mode. This might provide some clues about other uncool data points cropping up in the area. For example, even as upward pressure on already crazy home prices persists in the Bay Area in California, volume is in trouble. Read, housing bubble 2 gets complicated, pending home sales plunge in San Francisco Bay Area drop in all of California, which I just read you that one. Fascinating article. I think all these are actually. It's why I read them. I could spend literally, if I really want to, I could spend all flipping day. Like, okay, hey, where I work now, I'm going to quit and I'm going full, 10 videos a day, YouTube, full-time, baby. No. I only want to pick some of the things that I feel like I need, we need to have in our faces. Like, because again, property, real estate, we need to follow. This is a big metric, a big thing to follow, man. And when you start to see that and unemployment down and it means something. And one-off. Well, it can't have a one-off over there in that sector, a one-off over here in this sector, one-off on the sales on that one-off on this thing, one-off on that thing, one-off on everything. And then we get the reports from the government, unemployment's down further. Jobless numbers just came in, it's looking great. And the non-farm payroll stats are looking phenomenal. Markets rally. Then again, it could look like crap and markets would rally anyways. Isn't that freaking amazing? So, whatever. I'm out. Take care.